In this video, we're going to create a fire effects. So you'll need 4 components. First is the fire itself. Second is glow effect. And the third is the smoke. And the fourth one is the particles, the sparks. Okay, so this is what we're going to create in the end. First, let's import all of our footages into After Effects, and we're going to head over to conversation, create a new conversation, and we'll choose the HDTV 1080 and 24 frames per second, and we'll set the time as 10 seconds. And then we'll drag in our background footages, and you can increase the scale to match the screen. And then we'll bring in our torch, and we can scale it down and place it at the bottom of the screen. Then let's drop in our fire, and we're going to create a first component, which is the fire itself. As you can see, the background is in black color, so that means we can change it blending mode, and we can switch it to screen blending mode. Okay, and then we can make it bigger, and we can place it, and then here is how it looks. Okay, so at the bottom, as you can see, we have a hard edge. That's because the footage is cropped the video, right? So we can use the pen tool to draw a mask on the fire layer. Make sure you leave some space between the edge and the fire, and close the mask. And then as you get in here under the mask, we're going to increase the feather, so you're going to smooth out the edge of the mask, but you don't want to put too much value because we want to get rid of the hard edge, right? So something about 12, it all looks good. Now you can see that fire is more realistic. And the next step, we're going to create a glow effect, so we can just duplicate this fire layer, and we'll rename it to fire glow, and we'll search a glow effect. If you can't find the window, just go to Window Panel and turn on Effects and Presets. Okay, so for the glow effect, you can play with the setting, the threshold, the radius, and intensity. So we're going to increase the radius and intensity, and we're going to lower down the threshold. So I'm going to create a nice glow effect for the fire. And you can hit TK for transparency or opacity, and you can lower down the opacity of the fire. And as I demonstrated in the last class, here you can create a keyframes for opacity channel, and for each keyframe you can give it a different value. So in the end, you will have those kind of flashing effect. So the fire is going to flash. Okay. And we can, after you create a few keyframes, you can duplicate these frames, and you can extend the whole timeline. Here is how it looks. As you can see, the fire is flashing, and it's more realistic. So now we move on to third component, which is the smoke. So we're going to drop in the smoke, the first smoke, and we're going to apply a tint effect onto it. And here we're going to change the black color to white, and the white color will change it to black color. So basically we're going to invert the original color of the video, and we're going to change this anchor point to the bottom of the footage, and we're going to scale it up, and you can crop it a little bit, so we can now the smoke to come out a little bit earlier. So here we're going to change the blending mode to multiply. So basically for multiply blending mode, you're going to get rid of the bright color, and the dark color is going to remain. And here again, we're going to use the pen tool, and we're going to draw a mask on the smoke layer, and we're going to also change the mask feather, give it a value so we can smooth out the edge of the mask. And you can move the smoke up and make it look like the smoke is coming out from the torch. And lower down is opacity, so it's more realistic. We don't want the smoke to be too thick. Okay, and then we're going to bring in our second smoke layer, and we're going to just hit EK on the first smoke to open its effects, and then copy it and paste it onto our second smoke. Also, we're going to lower down its pivot point to the bottom, and we're going to scale it up. And you can change the blending mode to multiply as well. And then we're going to crop it, and here make sure it's aligned to the end of this time, and also create a mask so we can mask out the bottom of the footage. Okay, so pretty much for the second smoke, we will repeat the same thing we have done for the first smoke. Okay, so here I will move it up a little bit and then place the layer underneath the torch. So one smoke layer is before the torch and another is behind the torch, so it all looks more kind of 3D feel. And you can move the smoke up a little bit to make it look like the smoke is coming out from the fire. Okay, so now we've done with the third component, and we're going to move on to the particles. So drop in the fire sparks layer and position it. So here we're going to also create a mask, and we'll create this upside down triangle shape to make it look like the particle is coming out from the fire, and change the blending mode to screen. And smooth out the edge of the mask. And this is how it looks. And we can also duplicate this layer, and we're going to create a glow effect for the fire. And here we'll also look for a blur effect, so we're going to use the Gaussian blur, increase the value so we kind of blur out the glow effect we just applied, and lower down the opacity. And then I'm gonna copy all of the opacity keyframes from the fire glow layer to the particle glow layer. And I'm also going to narrow down the mask on the glow layer. So basically by doing this, the center of the particles is going to blur out and the edge will still sharp, so it kind of create a 3D feeling. We're going to head over to Media Encoder to export it. And here's how it looks in the end.